The next topic from here I want to discuss with you is the operator associativity. What this means is that given multiple operators have the same precedence in an expression, associativity determines in which direction the code will be parsed. So is it going to go from left to right or right to left? So if you go back to our table over here, it will basically determine in which direction things are working. So you see the assignment operator, it's going to go from the right hand side to the left hand side. Or let's say for a different example, let's say if you are doing the subtraction, it's going to take the first value and then take the second value, so going left to right. So with that, I want to give you a very neat example. So let's say I have 2 is greater than 1 is greater than 0, and the result is true. So it's going from left to right. So let's say if I go over here and I look at the greater than sign, let's look for it. And here it is. It says left to right. So it's going to first take this value, process it, and then take whatever the resulting value is, and then take that value and then compare it with 0, right? And that's why it gets true. And if you look at like a human, this makes sense. 2 is greater than 1 and 1 is greater than 0. Makes sense. But now let me give you something very tricky, which is actually not tricky. So I'm going to do 3 is greater than 2 is greater than 1. And now we get the value of false. That's weird. What's happening here? 3 is definitely greater than 2, right? And 2 is greater than 1. So why is this false? What's wrong with JavaScript, right? And that is why a lot of people get confused, because they don't understand this concept that I'm about to tell you. So remember, when we looked at associativity, it's going to take this value and process it first. So 3 is greater than 2. What is the result of that? Let's take a look. So I'm going to do 3 greater than 2, and the result is true. So it's going to take this value, which is true, and then process true is greater than 1. So it's going to do true is greater than 1. Make sense? Take it slow. You see, it's going to break it down into 2 parts because it's actually taking 2 operators. So true is greater than 1 is something that JavaScript needs to process and say, okay, I need to convert true into a Boolean value now, sorry, a number value, right? So you remember from our table over here, when its coercion is happening, the priority order is string, number, and then Boolean. So since Boolean needs to be converted into a number, it's going to do that. So going back to our example, it's going to say true is actually 1. So is 1 greater than 1? That's false. And that's why when you run this full expression, you get the result of false. So that's a very extremely important concept. When you combine, we took it very slow. We learned about coercion. We learned about all of these operators slowly. We talked about precedence. We talked about associativity. And when we combine all of these concepts, we actually learned about truthy and falsy values. And when we combine all of these concepts, a lot of people do not understand JavaScript because they don't understand these baselines. And when they come across these tricky questions in the interviews or tricky scenarios in their work and their programs that they're coding, they say, hey, JavaScript doesn't make sense because this is not correct mathematics. But they don't understand how JavaScript works. And now you do. So that's pretty much it for this video. I'm going to talk to you in the next.